Namaste, my friends. Welcome to this new video. So, today we're going to explore why non-dual Western kind of non-duality is not working for you. And I'm going to tell you why. And the reason is pretty simple. And the reason is that the modern Western non-duality bypasses the traditional, um, yoga and traditions that we have, for example, in India, where you just go into that samadhi state after many steps, and you reach that destination, which is here and now. Reality is always present, of course, but the vrittis or the tendencies of the mind, the karma, the past karma, uh, has not yet been purified by the aspirants. So that's why people struggle. That's why they are unable to truly realize the self, and are not making any progress because, yes, awakening from the dream is always here and now, doesn't depend on any tradition, religion, or anything. But if your character, human character, is not free from things like anger, jealousy, violence, it can be, don't think of physical violence, even when you have a thought that is not based on compassion, you're violent to someone, right? So that is why in yoga we have different steps. And the first step of yoga is yama. And yama means good conduct. So it's not good in terms of good and bad, but these are essential points like ahimsa, non-violence, right? Physical violence, verbal violence, emotional violence, all kind of violence. If you are violent, then you're failing at the first step of yoga. Then you can't proceed further. It's not possible. Or even if you do, your realization will be shaky, it won't be grounded, and anyone can put you off the stage, so to speak, right? Then we have satya. Satya means truthfulness. It's not so much truthfulness like, it's not bullshit. It's really telling the truth with your heart. Don't lie. Just say the truth. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Then we have asteya. Asteya means honesty. Honesty. And that's something so important, very much lacking in this new age nonsense kind of spiritual thing, right? Honesty. So that's very important. Then we have brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means celibacy, but it's not so much in terms of you have to be celibate, because actually most sages encourage, including this sage, Patanjali, who is the founder of the Yoga Sutras, who assembled all the uh, yoga traditions into one text, which is called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali in the year 0, right? But the founder of yoga is much older than that. In India, we tend to say it's Lord Shiva, and it's like 5,000 years ago, way before the Mahabharata, and way before Christianity, Islam, way before that, way before our Western religions, right? And the last step of yama is aparigraha. Aparigraha means non-possessiveness. So it means you can't possess people or things, because everything that you have in this world, you'll leave it. And you can't possess your wife, or you can't possess your husband if you're a woman, because they're not a thing to be possessed. So that's yama. Then we have niyama. Niyama is all about regulation, like santosha, purity. Santosha is contentment. Socha is purity. Tapas means penance. Like if you do some yoga, if you do some meditation, then you're doing some tapas. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means study of the self, resting in the self. What does it mean? All this Maya, all this creation is an illusion, and resting in the self means finding that which is permanent in the transient. And lastly, Ishvara Pranidaha. Ça veut dire, it means surrender to God, right? And if you don't believe in God, if you're an atheist, then it just means letting go of the results because you can't control everything. And then finally, we enter into what people see as yoga, which is asana, pranayama. Asana means the posture. And in the Western world, we really associate yoga with physical posture. As we saw, that's not what yoga is. What yoga is at all. That's a misconception, a complete misunderstanding. Yoga is the entire journey from yama to samadhi, where asana is just one step, physical posture. You make your body stable, free of emotions, regulation of the senses. Asana, a comfortable and steady posture, is an asana. And traditionally, in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, he only mentions asana once. And he says a steady and comfortable posture is an asana. And then people turn that into yoga. So today, when we speak of yoga, people think of, girls doing some whatever, moving their butts or something. That's not yoga. That's the Western nonsense that came later, right? Yoga is a state of samadhi, means union with the self, free of suffering. That's what means yoga. Then you have pratyahara. Pratyahara means concentration, because if your concentration is bad, it's very difficult to enter into the next stage, which is dharana. Dharana means, for example, in Vipassana, we focus on the breath. That's the method that was taught by the Buddha. You focus on the breathing, and then you let go of that point. Dharana means you focus on one point. Could be the heart, could be the eyebrows, wherever it is, right? Doesn't matter. And then you let go of that point and you enter into dhyana. And dhyana means meditation. So, for example, when Adyashanti is a spiritual master, Zen master, talks about meditation as just let everything be as it is. When you've done the entire yoga process, it's extremely simple to let things be as they are. Because the heart is pure, you're free of tendencies of anger, jealousy, envy, food addiction, all these things. It's still possible to let things be as they are, because even if you have these things, because you can't do it as the person. Things just are as they are. It's just this, right? You can't achieve this. That's true. But it's so much easier when you've worked your way through this. Then you're like, oh yeah, of course, things are just as they are. The only obstruction was my tendencies, myself, so to speak. So when I'm removed, only this is it. And that's samadhi, means union with the self. Only this remains. Why I'm saying that, guys, is because, see, like, what I see that's missing in the Western way of teaching today is that people just want to wake up from the dream, and that's amazing. That's the most important part, because you don't need any religion, any yoga, well, even though yoga is not a religion at all, but you know what I mean. Any preparation. At the same time, people come back to that shaky state that was there before, and write some questions to me, or like and they ask things like, why am I losing it? I was there. There was only this, only God. and then I've lost it. Why? And the answer is very simple: tendencies, vrittis of the mind. Because if you've not taken care of the first steps, how can you be stable in the last one? If you're not, if you have not passed through the first stages of enlightenment, how can you reach the pyramid? You can't. Or you can, but you'll be scared as hell. You're gonna be scared as hell. And from the absolute perspective, none of that matters. I absolutely agree. And we're all one and the same. Absolutely. But for your human embodied life, my friends, it is extremely important. Asatoma sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon in another video. Thank you.